Hey, Warpugs. So this is a request from Makoto5, and he asked for me to check out something from the Volgun. And this is SCP-3348, The Lost Dictionary. It's a safe SCP, and it's apparently with the Serpent's Hand, who is currently driving past my house right now. I cannot wait for the sound of that to be gone. I cannot wait, you guys. You guys have no idea how long I've just been annoyed at that for the past year and change. Every single time I started recording and cars driven by, I've just been like, please just stop. But yeah, that's gonna be ending soon, I hope. In any case, Warpugs, the Volgun is by far, in my opinion, one of the best SCP creators. Period. And the voice acting he puts into play and everything, it really does make the universe of SCP stand out. If you have not seen the bodies in the water, if you do not recognize the bodies in the water, I recommend you check that out. It's just highly, highly, highly recommended. But today we're checking out the Lost Dictionary, SCP-3348. I hope you guys enjoy this. Hope we learned something. Let's get into it.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-3348. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-3348 is to be kept in a safe, secured via a combination lock at least 5 characters in length, which itself is to be contained within a safe class containment chamber.
Okay.
In order to prevent the contents of SCP-3348 from being spoken outside of testing, the antechamber connecting the containment chamber to the remainder of the facility is to be equipped with a mechanism capable of dispensing Class A targeted amnestics. Whenever personnel without Level 3, 3348 clearance or higher exit the chamber, the mechanism is to be activated in order to erase their memories of said contents. Description: SCP-3348 is a black leather-bound journal, written in a white field. On the front cover is the title, The Compiled Vocabulary of the Cage-Nethonian Language by Mandrid Motzer. The first several pages of the journal contain handwritten entries listing words in a previously unknown language, presumably Cage-Nethonian, along with their translations. These words are characterized by their extreme length. No entry has been observed to be any less than 6 syllables long. In addition, Foundation...
I've always found it humorous that the longest word in the English language is meant to describe a phobia of long words. We're weird with English.
Linguists are currently unable to find consistent traits between each instance, as if their structures are completely random. The remaining pages are blank, but an extra piece of loose paper was found in the back of the journal at the time of recovery. See Addendum 3348-02. SCP-3348's anomalous properties manifest when an individual, henceforth referred to as the subject, speaks one of the words contained within it. As soon as the word is completely spoken, all instances of the entity or concept it is associated with will become negatively affected in some way within a 30-meter radius of the subject. This effect manifests in one of 3 general ways, depending upon the chosen words part of speech. Nouns. The affected entities will be altered in such a way that they will no longer be able to perform their intended function, and/or attempting to use them will cause harm to the user. Verbs. For 30 seconds after the subject speaks the word, anyone or anything attempting to perform the respective action will invariably fail, usually hurting themselves or others in the process. Adjectives. Entities exhibiting the respective trait will lose it. Addendum 3348-01.
That is extensively dangerous in so many ways. This might be very, even though it's a safe class, this is the thing I love about SCP. Just because it's safe doesn't mean that it is safe. This is probably one of the more dangerous SCPs that I've heard about.
Test log. The following is a list of the initial tests conducted with entries found within SCP-3348. Entry tested. Te Serix. Part of speech, noun. Translation, knife. Procedure. A knife and length of rope are placed on a table. The subject is asked to speak the word, then attempt to cut the rope with the knife. Results. The edge of the knife briefly heats to degrees Celsius before cooling down, now visibly dull. Subject attempts to make a cut in the rope for approximately 5 minutes before the knife suddenly snaps in half. Entry tested, Guzla edited. Part of speech, verb. Translation, to walk. Procedure, D-5033-9, Subject B is asked to attempt to walk from one end of the testing chamber to another after the word is spoken. Results. Subject B begins to walk forward. After a couple of steps, his legs buckle and he falls to the ground. Several more attempts are made, each resulting in the same outcome until the end of the 30-second period. Entry tested, Waryak. Part of speech, verb. Translation, to fall. Procedure. After the word is spoken, subject is asked to lift a bowling ball off of the table and drop it at their feet. Results. The bowling ball does not fall, suspending itself in the air where it was released. After the 30-second time period, it falls to the ground at terminal velocity.
Oh my
Subject
God.
sustains minor injuries. Entry tested. Fazava Wikuk. Part of speech, adjective. Translation, red. Procedure. A red apple is placed on a table and observed after the word is spoken. Results. The skin of the apple turns from red to a visual phenomena that is described by those present as indescribable and incomprehensible. Subject and observing personnel suffer from major headaches for the following hours.
Wow, okay.
Entry tested at Jiricon. Part of speech, adjective. Translation, large. Procedure. A standard brand refrigerator is placed next to a sculpture of a fork made to be roughly the same size. Both are observed after the word is spoken. Results. The sculpture is shrunken to the size of a regular fork, but the refrigerator remains unaffected.
Okay.
Researchers note. This test reveals an interesting property of SCP-3348. Although the fridge and the fork were about the same size, only the fork was considered large. This seems to suggest some level of sentience, as the perception of the subject seems to make a difference in the outcome. We will test
That's
on
what I
more
was thinking about.
perception-based entries to confirm this hypothesis. Lead researcher Dr. Hapton. Entry tested as a etia. Part of speech, noun. Translation, love. Procedure, D03934 and D14045, subjects B and C, who are known to be romantically involved with each other, are
Okay, this is just a dick move. This is just a dick move.
placed together in the testing chamber and observed after the word is spoken. Results. Subject B and Subject C look at each other with apparent looks of disgust and hatred, moving away from each other and repeatedly requesting they be removed
This
from the
is just
testing
messed
chamber
up.
as soon as possible. Entry tested.
That's just messed up, man. That is just utterly messed up. And of course, it's the guy's fault.
Midav. Part of speech, adjective. Translation, hostile. Procedure. Subject A, Security Officer B, is to say the word, then interact with D99328, Subject B. Note that Subject B has on multiple occasions verbally and physically assaulted Subject A, and has openly expressed his negative regards towards him.
Okay.
Results. Subject B enters room in which Subject A is waiting, and exhibits a positive reaction to him, greeting him warmly and offering a handshake. Subject A is prompted by researchers to refuse and provoke the Subject B, but Subject B's disposition sees no apparent change. Since this experiment, Subject B has been uncharacteristically cooperative with staff.
Huh.
Entry tested, it's guapo. Part of speech, Verb. Translation: improve. Procedure: researcher Dr. Subject B and junior researcher Dr. Subject C, who is a tomato allergy, are asked to apply generous servings of ketchup to hamburgers placed in front of them simultaneously after the word is spoken. Results: Subject B effortlessly performs the task, but Subject C expresses overwhelming difficulty when attempting to tip the ketchup bottle to the appropriate angle. When Subject B is prompted to attempt to assist, he reports that he cannot move it until Subject C removes her hands from the bottle. Entry tested. Jugi. Part of speech: noun. Translation: property. Procedure: 3 identical staplers. Items 1 through 3
Have you seen my stapler?
are placed on a table in front of the subject and observed after the word is spoken. Item 1 was bought by the subject. Item 2 was bought by an associate and given to the subject, and item 3 was brought in specifically for this test. Results: the spring mechanisms of items 1 and 2 suddenly snap, but item 3 remains intact and fully functional. Notice from lead researcher Dr. Hampton. Upon review of the collected data from the above tests, it is of my professional opinion that further testing by our team will fail to yield any additional meaningful information. However, if you are a researcher needing to use SCP-3348 for your own experiments, please have a project lead contact me so that arrangements may be made. Addendum 3348-02. Recovery. SCP-3348 was recovered and contained on 20. Shortly after, several Hume sensors detected a sudden and brief drop 0.5 kilometers away from the front entrance of Site, where it is currently being held. Upon recovery, a handwritten note was found in the back of the journal on a separate piece of paper. The contents of the note are as follows.
Okay.
To whomever finds this, I need you to keep my work safe. As I write this, there are several very angry individuals coming to destroy what I have done. To think my own colleagues, my former friends supposedly dedicated to the preservation of truth and knowledge, coming to me, and all of a sudden telling me that recording it is wrong. When I discovered the Cajun Athonian language, it was nearly lost to history. I thought I was the first. Turns out I wasn't. And they tried to bury history on purpose. Some ancient war or something of the sort, I'm not sure.
Yeah?
But they nearly destroyed all records of the Cajun Athonians on purpose. Nearly. They said what I was doing was forbidden. So here I am now, writing to you in a dark corner of the library, hoping that this way leads to where I think it does. No safer place in the universe than one of the jailer's cells, right?
Huh.
Please, I know that your people are as dedicated to the protection of knowledge as I am, or maybe by now was. Hopefully this arrangement won't be permanent. If I get out of this alive, I'll be coming for my book. I fully intend to finish what I started. From one scholar to another. Mozart. Given the content of the note, as well as the circumstances of SCP-3348's recovery, it is to be assumed that the individual known as Mandarin Motzer somehow obtained knowledge of the location, or at least the approximate location of Site, and has a means to reach it. An investigation to find the possible mode of information leakage is currently underway, and site security has been updated accordingly. Okay, I think that about does it for today. Thank you for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed. Goodbye.
Okay, so I have seen this name in relation to a whole bunch of SCPs that I have been a really big fan of, and this one is no different. Somebody that could use this language, had it memorized, could effectively become untouchable. They could effectively become untouchable, considering what this language is does in the tests. It effectively stops people from. It can effectively stop any kind of real change or stop any kind of action. There's so many ways this could be applied, but and yeah, 30 seconds. 30 seconds doesn't seem like a long time, but 30 seconds can become an eternity in the right circumstance. So, thank you. Like, 5 seconds is a massive eternity right there. Somebody who had mastery over this language could be functionally immortal. Could be functionally immortal. Untouchable. Just dangerous beyond any measure of the imagination. This is why I have really gotten into SCP since you guys introduced me to it, because things like this exist in the universe. And something as simple as a safe SCP that does nothing, that does absolutely nothing. It doesn't get up, it doesn't vanish, it doesn't teleport around, nothing like that. Something as simple as a handwritten dictionary can have such drastic effects if it ever fell into the wrong hands. And that is why the SCP Foundation exists. And you might not agree with their methods, which I'm more of a fan of the GOC than I am the SCP Foundation, but you can see why they do that. War Pugs, all the Volgun's links are going to be in the description down below. I highly recommend you check them out. Check my links as well. I'm going to take off out of here, and I will catch you guys next time.